My name is Ericka Nicole Malone, and I am so proud of you. I'm proud of you for coming into this space, for coming into this community to share your dreams. This started off as just a documentary, but now it's become a movement. It's become a movement to help you uncover parts of yourself that you never knew existed. Each week, we're going to share inspirational stories that will help you follow your dreams to uncover the impossible. We're going to do it together. Come with me. Let's go.
Bucketwish family, thank you for joining me again today. And today I want to talk about a topic that is really special to me because I'm constantly doing this in my life. And that is writing your own story. Every day that, we die daily, to borrow a scripture from the Bible. We are constantly starting over. So I'm just going to talk to you not as someone who has all of the answers, because in many ways I'm learning it with you, but just speaking from my heart about how tough it is to write your own story. To write your own story in the middle of one of the saddest times in our lives, having to see images we thought we'd never see, having to turn off the news because the news is so depressing, having to find joy when in a lot of ways there's no joy to be found, it seems. But we can write our own story. We can find the things that gives us joy, find the things that gives us hope. We cannot stay stuck in habits that hold us back. And, a lot of times it's just, depression and being sad. And, if you're used to being sad and you're used to being negative, you'll stay negative. And that can hinder you from creating a new chapter of your life. I'm constantly working on Ericka. I'm constantly working on me. How do I reshape my life to something new? And, a lot of times what happens with me is I just get where, I'm so comfortable. I'm so comfortable right at the place I am. And I know what's going to happen. And I'm one of those people that enjoys knowing what's going to happen tomorrow. I really like that I can wake up and this is going to happen and that's going to happen. I don't like not knowing. But the problem with that is, because I don't like not knowing what's going to happen, is you can become complacent and you can become stuck in the same rhythm and the same pacing. And, you don't want to look up in 5 years from now, you're still in the same place. And a lot of times I'm stuck, and then, I'm really praying and I feel God saying to me, look, if you don't move, life is going to move anyway. It's going to just go the same 80 miles an hour and you're still going to be sitting there. And it's me just accepting that I have to move with life. It doesn't matter that I was really, really comfortable in the place I was in. Now it's time for a new place. It's time for a new story. And it's getting myself ready and accepting that I have to walk into that new story. And I have to walk into the new story not really having the answers, the tools, the energy, the mindset, but I have to move. And to me, that's the hardest part, but you have to move. And writing your own story is, how can I let go of some of the things that are holding me back? What are some of those, I call them pillars, that I'm putting in front of me? And I know it's almost like being on a runway, right? And the plane's about to take off and you have a clear runway. Sometimes I'm putting my own pillar on the runway. It's like I can't move. And it's like I slow myself down on purpose. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, if I do this tomorrow, I'll get this done. I'll get that. I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm going to go ahead and put this pillar here. We'll get it done on Tuesday. No, like get everything out of your way. What is it that you want to achieve? Whatever it is, write your own story. For me, I'm doing a lot of writing right now. And if you're a writer, I know many of you are writers out there, it's very tough. And it just depends on what you're writing, whether you're writing a book or whether you're writing a script, it's characters. You have to set the time. Like we take the time for everybody else. We take the time for our friends. We take the time for our family. If somebody calls you right now, you're going to drop everything and you're going to be there for your friends and family and you're going to do whatever you need them to do. But when it's time for you, when it's time for you to create something for you, then all of a sudden you just, I don't have the time, or I'm just so tired. And I come up with, you should see my excuses. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just so sleepy. And I have to say, Ericka, look, you're there for everybody else. Now it's your time. You have to put the same amount of energy into you that you put into everybody else, and sometimes more so. So, you have to ask yourself, what is it that you want for your life? What do you want the next 5 years to look like? And you genuinely are writing that with your actions today. And 5 years from now, we can't say, I didn't reach this goal, or I didn't reach that goal. You didn't reach that goal because you did not put the energy of those dreams into yourself. You put them into everybody else. And my grandmama used to say, whatever seed you plant, don't be surprised at how it grows. What's the seed you're planting? Is your seed hard work? Is your seed faith? More joy? Whatever it is you're planting, that is what's going to grow in 5 years. And so writing your story takes courage, it takes time, it takes commitment, and it takes self-love. And a lot of times it doesn't take big Herculean moves. It's the small wins. It's the small things that make waves in your life that you never even realized. And a lot of times it's just as simple as cleaning your space. First, I know how I feel by my space. If I start looking around the room I'm most in and it starts getting a little like junky or messy, I'm like, okay, I'm stressed out. And the truth is, unless your space is really clean and clear, you're not going to be good for anything or anybody, because you have to have the space to be able to create and to map out your life. So what are the small things? Maybe it's just cleaning up your space. Maybe it's taking the walk. And, there are people that are out there and they're trying to lose weight, or they're out there and they're trying to get more healthy, or trying to write or create, all these different things, write a film, start a business. First step is you. It's always been you. And we can point at everybody else. We can look at everybody else and say, oh, my mom did this, or my father did this, or my friends did this to me, or I didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough support. It all starts with you. Because I've seen people with no money, no support, no family, and they made it all the way. There's nothing that is stopping you from writing your own story. One of the things that I remember in myself is how I was able to, being very young, get people to support me in the different projects I had, just because I believed in my own vision. No money, broke, constantly trying to create new dreams and new ways to make those dreams come true. But I was able to do that because I had a singular vision. I knew I could do it. I knew I could do it in Louisville, Kentucky with no money. I was working a normal job, at that time, making my little $30,000, $25,000 a year. But I felt that people would believe in my vision if I put the vision out there. And they really did. And a lot of them would say, you know what? You're the first person that ever asked me. You're the first person that ever approached me. So yeah, I'll get behind you. Yeah, I'll write you the check. Hardly, I would say, yes, you're going to get people to say no. But I could say in my early 20s, not many people said no. And it's because I believed it so vehemently that they believed it too. And so you have to have a vision and make that vision come true. Just take the first step. Take the first step. Yeah, and perfect example, I mean, setbacks aren't the end. And I had a situation where, and I've had so many, I don't know if that's good or bad, but where, again, I've had plays, I've had theater. Let me start over. Setbacks aren't the end. I want to say that to you, and I'm saying it from the heart. I'm saying it from experience. Setbacks are not the end, not in any stretch of the means. I've had so many productions and plays that I wrote and I toured around the country with, and sometimes people came and it was great. Sometimes, they didn't come. And, you had spent all your money in advertising. I remember one time, and I think I was about 19 years old, and I was doing a production in Milwaukee at the Pabst Theater. And, I had put all of my extra money in it. I was doing it for a promoter, and the people didn't come. People came, but it wasn't as many people as I thought. And I had a big cast. I'm young. I'm paying a full cast. I think I had like 30 people in the cast. And, and my promoter was like, hey, I'm going to teach you a lesson about business. He was like, here's the money. We didn't make as much money as we thought. He was like, you can either pay your cast or you can pay yourself. And I just was like, I'm going to pay my cast. And I paid my cast, and they were all happy, and they were all like, oh, I'm going shopping. I'm going to go to, and it was at the time, I think, by the way, I overpaid my cast. I love y'all, whoever heard me. But I overpaid my cast, and I was like, I think I was paying them like $750 for a performance. And back then, that's like 4 times probably what I should have been paying it. But I'm young, I didn't know. So, and I didn't have money at all. And I'm watching all of my cast, and they're like going shopping, and I'm like, yeah, have fun. They're like, yeah, I'm about to go buy me a leather coat. I'm like, okay, enjoy your leather coat. But it was, when I look back on that, I don't regret it, because all you have in life is your character. All you have is your word. And for me, I just had to go back home, and I had to dust myself off and get back up, because I knew what my story, I knew how I wanted my story to end. I was really young, but I knew like one day this is going to be a better story. So right now, whatever situation you're in, this is not come to stay. It's come to pass, and it will pass. And you're going to get back up, and you're going to write a story that is going to be the best story you ever imagined for your life. And you have to ask yourself, what if I would have quit? What if at that moment I would have not got back up? I didn't have the money to pay the cast. And now looking back, it was funny because I was just so determined to make sure my cast got paid. I won't go through the details of how much I had to fight for that. But, what if I would have said, this was a tough show. I'm going to give up. I'm going to quit. I'm never going to do it again. But I was like, nope, I'm going to get back up. I'm going to be award-winning. I knew I was going to be an award-winning playwright, writer. I couldn't see the end, but I knew the story was going to be a good one. It was going to be a good story. And there's going to be hurdles, and you're going to fall, just like in a race. When they're racing sometimes, and they fall, and then they get back up, and then they just keep racing and keep racing. And you gotta keep racing. You gotta keep running. Doesn't mean you're not gonna fall. Doesn't mean you're not gonna quit. Doesn't mean you're not gonna get tired, but there's gonna be something powerful at the end. Something powerful. And I'm just so excited of what, it's funny because people think it's the wins that shape you, but it's not. It's adversity that shapes you. It's adversity that builds you. It's adversity kind of creates a beautiful, beautiful person out of what could have shattered you, what could have just tore you to the ground. It's something, there's something powerful about those moments, those hurdles, those little breaks in the ground that should suck you in, but you get back up and you climb and you're even better than you were before. I'm thankful for those moments. I'm thankful for the bruises.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Bucketwish. Go out, live your dreams, and do something special just for you. But make sure you come back to us next week to hear another inspiring story. See you next time.